like we hadn't detonated. "Can we talk?" I asked. He stepped aside. His apartment looked the same. Same couch, same framed photos, except something felt colder. I stayed standing. "So what are we doing?" I asked. He rubbed the back of his neck. "I've been thinking." My heart pounded so loudly I could barely hear him. "I don't think this is working anymore." There it was. No tears in his eyes, no tremble in his voice, just a decision. I felt my chest cave in. "Because I looked at your phone?" "Because we're toxic," he corrected. Toxic. That word felt rehearsed. You flirted with someone else. You invaded my privacy. You emotionally cheated. You're dramatic. Back and forth. Deflect, reverse, blame. It was exhausting. Finally, I said the thing I'd been terrified to say. "Did you sleep with her?" He paused. Just for a second. "No." It should have felt reassuring. It didn't. Because he didn't say it like someone defending love. He said it like someone avoiding a technical lie. "So that's it?" I asked, my voice cracking. 4 years and you're just done?" He exhaled slowly. "I need something different." Different. That word hit harder than cheating. Different meant I wasn't enough. Not wrong, not betrayed, just insufficient. I swallowed the lump in my throat. "I would have fought for you," I whispered. "I don't want to fight," he replied. And that was it. No begging, no grand speeches, just the quiet understanding that I was the only one still holding on. I walked out with what little dignity I could gather, but the second I got to my car, I broke. Ugly crying. The kind where your body folds in on itself. The kind where you make sounds you didn't know you could make. I drove home shaking. And that night, I did exactly what I swore I wouldn't. I texted him. "I love you. I hope you know that." He replied an hour later. "I care about you too." Care. Not love. Care. It felt like being demoted in your own relationship. The next few weeks were a blur. I didn't eat properly. I didn't sleep properly. I'd wake up at 3 a.m. reaching for my phone before remembering there was nothing to check. No good morning text, no drive safe, just silence. And the silence was louder than any argument we'd ever had. I replayed everything. The party joke, the anniversary cancellation, the "you're a lot," the gaslighting. Every red flag I painted green. How did I miss it? Or maybe the better question was, why did I ignore it? Because loving him felt safer than being alone. Because the highs were addictive. Because I convinced myself intensity meant depth. I stalked Lena's social media once. Just once. She was pretty, confident, different. I stared at her photos, analyzing myself against her like love was a competition scoreboard. Does she laugh softer? Is she less emotional? Does she not ask hard questions? Comparison is a dangerous spiral. I closed the app, but the damage was done. For a while, I believed the breakup confirmed my worst fear. I was too much, too emotional, too intense, too needy. Until something strange happened. About 6 weeks in, after crying in the shower for what felt like the 100th time, I didn't cry. I just stood there, water running, and I felt tired. Not devastated, not hysterical, just tired. Tired of replaying it. Tired of defending him in my own head. Tired of blaming myself. I sat on my bed that night and wrote a list, not of his flaws, of moments I felt small. When he called me sensitive, when he rolled his eyes at my feelings, when I apologized for needing reassurance, when I felt afraid to bring things up. Seeing it written out was sobering. It wasn't one moment. It was a pattern, and for the first time, the breakup didn't look like rejection, it looked like exposure. He didn't leave because I was too much. He left because I stopped shrinking quietly. That realization didn't fix the pain, but it shifted it. Around the 2-month mark, he texted, "Hey, hope you're doing okay." I stared at the screen for 10 full minutes. My heart reacted before my brain did. He's thinking about you. He misses you. This is your chance. I typed, deleted, typed again. What do you want? 3 dots. Then, just checking in. Just checking in. Like I was a dentist appointment he forgot about. Are you with her? I asked. Long pause. That's not your business anymore. There it was, the cold detachment. And suddenly, something inside me steadied because I realized when we were together, he had access to my love, my loyalty, my softness. Now he just had curiosity. He didn't get the comfort without the commitment. I hope she gives you what you're looking for, I typed. It was the most dignified sentence I'd written in months. He replied, "You'll find someone better suited for you." Better suited. Translation, someone who tolerates you. I put my phone face down, and instead of crying, I laughed. Not because it was funny, because it was clear. Crystal clear. He didn't see my intensity as a gift. He saw it as an inconvenience. And maybe the right person would see it differently. That night, I blocked him. Not out of spite, out of survival. The following weeks were quiet, lonely, but different. I started running again. Something about moving my body reminded me I still existed outside of breakup. I reconnected with friends I'd neglected. I started therapy. And in one session, my therapist said something that lodged into my brain. You weren't asking for too much. You were asking the wrong person. That sentence rearranged something inside me, because I had spent months believing I needed to be less emotional, less expressive, less demanding. But what if I didn't need to shrink? What if I needed someone who didn't feel threatened by depth? The grief didn't disappear overnight. I still had days where I missed him, missed the familiarity, missed the comfort of knowing someone chose me, even if it was conditional. But slowly, the pedestal I put him on started to crumble. I stopped romanticizing the beginning and started acknowledging the erosion. One evening, sitting alone on my couch, I realized something powerful. I wasn't broken. I was awake. Awake to the compromises. Awake to the gaslighting. Awake to how often I had abandoned myself to keep him comfortable. And once you see that, you can't unsee it. The pain was still there, but it no longer felt like rejection. It felt like release. And for the first time since that night on the bathroom floor, I slept without checking my phone. The glow-up didn't start with revenge. It started with boredom. Not the dramatic, cinematic kind, just quiet afternoons where I realized I had entire hours that didn't revolve around waiting for a text. At first, the silence felt like withdrawal. Then it started to feel like space. Real space. I rearranged my apartment one Saturday morning, moved the couch, threw away the candle he bought me that I'd never even liked, but kept because he said it felt like us. I donated the hoodie I used to sleep in. Was it petty? Maybe. But every object I removed felt like reclaiming square footage in my own life. I started saying yes to things I used to turn down because Daniel might want to hang out. I joined a Saturday morning run club. The first week, I almost didn't go. My brain tried to convince me I was too awkward, too out of shape, too behind. But I went anyway. And somewhere between mile 2 and mile 3, lungs burning, legs aching, I realized something simple. Pain that builds you feels different than pain that breaks you. I began to feel stronger, not because I posted gym selfies, not because I wanted him to see, but because I could finally feel myself coming back online. At work, I volunteered for a project I would have avoided before. I spoke up in meetings without editing myself mid-sentence. One afternoon, my manager pulled me aside. "Where has this energy been?" she asked, smiling. I almost laughed, recovering from emotional whiplash, apparently. But what I said was, I guess I stopped second-guessing myself. And that was true, because somewhere in the months after the breakup, I realized something profound. I had been filtering my personality through someone else's comfort level. Without that filter, I was clearer, sharper, louder in the best way. And then, inevitably, he came back. It started subtly, an Instagram follow request. We had unfollowed each other months ago. I stared at it. My heart didn't race the way it used to. It just noted it. I ignored it. 2 days later, he texted, "Hey, been thinking about you." I didn't respond. 3 days after that, "Can we talk?" The timing wasn't lost on me. By then, I'd heard through mutual friends that things with Lena hadn't worked out. Shocking. I sat on my couch, holding my phone, remembering the girl who once cried in the bathroom hoping for exactly this message. Back then, I would have seen it as proof. Proof he loved me. Proof I mattered. Proof I wasn't too much. Now, it just felt like recycling. I responded the next morning. "What do you want to talk about?" He replied almost immediately, "I made a mistake." There it was. The line every heartbroken person thinks will fix everything. I didn't feel elated. I felt observant. "What mistake?" I asked. "Letting you go." My stomach didn't flip. My pulse didn't spike. Instead, my mind replayed, "You're dramatic. You're too sensitive. I need something different. That's not your business anymore." Memory is a powerful defense mechanism when you stop romanticizing it. "I don't think you let me go," I typed slowly. "I think you chose something else." 3 dots. Then, "It wasn't what I thought it would be." Ah, so now I was the backup plan, the stable option, the familiar comfort. "I miss us," he added. Us. I thought about that word. Did he miss us, or did he miss the version of me who tolerated confusion? "Do you miss me?" I asked. A pause. "Of course." I could almost see him typing it. Because the truth is, I knew him. He missed access. He missed being admired. He missed knowing someone loved him deeply. But missing someone and respecting them are not the same thing. "I'm not interested in revisiting this," I wrote. The old me would have softened it, added a heart, added a "hope you understand." But this version of me didn't need to cushion boundaries. His reply came fast. "Wow." Funny, that word again. The same one he used when I brought up Lena. Only this time, it didn't land the same. "You didn't think I'd be so cold." Cold. Because I wasn't emotional? Because I wasn't pleading? Because I wasn't available? I'm not cold. I'm healed. Silence. And for the first time, I didn't fear it. A week later, I saw him in person. Pure accident. Coffee shop, different one from where we met. He walked in as I was waiting for my order. Our eyes locked. Time didn't freeze, it just acknowledged history. He walked over. "You look good," he said. I did. Not just physically. There was something in my posture that hadn't been there before. "Thanks," I replied calmly. We stood there in awkward familiarity. "I've been thinking a lot," he started. I raised my eyebrow slightly. That's usually how it works. He gave a half smile. I didn't appreciate what I had. There it was again. Regret packaged neatly. I studied him. He looked the same, but smaller somehow. Not physically, energetically. I needed someone who challenged me. I didn't realize that until I didn't have it. Translation, Lena didn't challenge him. I took a sip of my coffee. And now? I think we could try again, do it right this time. Do it right, as if love is a software update. I didn't feel angry. I felt clear. "I don't hate you," I said evenly, "but I also don't want you." He blinked. The sentence seemed to physically hit him. "You don't mean that." "I do." He searched my face for softness. There was compassion, but no longing. "You used to fight for us," he said quietly. And that was the moment I realized the power shift. I used to fight for someone who didn't fight back. Silence. He swallowed. "I've changed. Maybe you have, but I've changed too." And that was the difference. His change was reactionary. Mine was foundational. He reached for one last attempt. "Are you seeing someone?" I smiled slightly. "That's not your business anymore." His own words, returned without venom, just truth. He nodded slowly. "I didn't think you'd move on this fast." I almost laughed. Fast? It had taken months of crying, therapy, rebuilding. But growth looks sudden from the outside. I didn't move on fast. I just stopped waiting. My name was called at the counter. I grabbed my coffee. He stood there, maybe expecting one more opening, one more crack. There wasn't one. "I hope you find what you're looking for," I told him. And this time, I meant it. Because what I was looking for wasn't him anymore. It was peace. And I had it. I walked out of that coffee shop lighter than I had felt in years. Not because I rejected him, but because I didn't need him to validate my worth. That was the real comeback. Not a revenge body, not a new relationship, not posting thirst traps to make him jealous. It was the quiet confidence of knowing, if someone has the chance to love you, and they choose to lose you, you don't beg them to reconsider. You let them. Because love isn't supposed to feel like endurance. It's not supposed to make you question your sanity. It's not supposed to shrink you into something more digestible. And if they come back, you get to decide. Not from loneliness, not from ego, but from self-respect. I used to pray he'd realize my value. Now, I'm grateful he didn't. Because if he had loved me properly the first time, I never would have learned how to love myself like this. And that's the kind of justice no apology can compete with. How many of us stay too long, not because we're happy, but because we remember who they were in the beginning? How many red flags do we repaint green just to avoid starting over? How many nights do we spend curled up in the dark convincing ourselves that if we were just a little quieter, a little softer, a little less emotional, they would stay? Was it love, or was it fear of being alone? Was it connection, or was it addiction to the highs and lows? And here's the hardest question. If someone had to lose you to realize your worth, do they actually deserve you back? You endured. You cried yourself to sleep. You replayed conversations. You questioned your value. But enduring isn't the same as being loved. And sometimes the greatest act of self-respect isn't convincing someone to choose you. It's choosing yourself after they don't. So if you're in the middle of it right now, if you're staring at your phone hoping for a text, ask yourself, do you miss them? Or do you miss who you were trying to be for them? Because the version of you who survives this, they won't beg, they won't shrink, they won't negotiate their worth. They'll walk away, calmly. And that calm is louder than any argument. If this story felt personal, if it hit somewhere you don't usually let people see, I want to hear from you. Have you ever taken someone back who didn't choose you the first time? Did they change, or did you finally change? Drop your story in the comments. You never know who might read it and feel less alone. And if you're rebuilding right now, if you're in that quiet glow-up phase where no one sees the work but you, stay. Subscribe. Because on this channel, we don't just tell breakup stories, we tell survival stories. And the next one, it might sound a little too familiar. Until then, choose yourself. Every time.